The most challenging and life-changing fitness program ever created. It was a bold move, and we had no idea if people would respond. But thanks to Tony's unique way of training and the science of muscle confusion, literally millions of people have changed their lives with this program, and it has set a completely new standard in extreme fitness. And it actually continues to be the standard by which other programs are measured. I mean, how many people have seen other programs on TV who are trying to say, we're kind of like P90X? But the science of muscle confusion is about constant improvement, never accepting a plateau. That means after a couple of rounds of P90X, you got to mix it up again. You got to take it to another level. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing the next P90X. You know, it's 14 workouts, and as you saw, there are some really cool moves in there. And the thing that sets this franchise apart from any other workout program is the guy who helps us put it all together, who finds the experts, who weaves together sort of a tapestry of what's the latest and greatest in training. Please join me in welcoming Tony Horton. Yeah. When Hudgens was up here, he made this thing look like a little step stool. And like Willie Tomlin. Okay, so what can we expect from the next P90X?
Well, you know, we've learned a lot in 7 years. I'm sort of a Dr. Jekyll of fitness, you know, so I'm always talking to the right people. I always wanted, you know, I want to go to the next level. So we've added stability balls and medicine balls. You know, we've changed the yoga. It's not necessarily an hour, you know, it's 2.5 hours. We're doing what our customers want, right? So it's about power and strength and stability and coordination and stamina. You know, it's about athleticism. You know, there's 3 different levels to it. There's the food system has changed. You know, dietary aspects of it have changed. So, you know, as we grow as a company, as our customers become more savvy, we work with them, we change it, and it's going to blow your mind.
You know, the concept of P90X being built on muscle confusion. How does P90X2 build on that?
Well, I think certainly one of the reasons is, you know, functional fitness, core fitness, those aspects of it. I mean, in a traditional P90X routine, you do wide push-ups and narrow push-ups, and those are great. Of course, they build strength. But, you know, now we do push-ups on 4 medicine balls. We do plyometric push-ups on a stability ball. And we put our hands on a medicine ball and our feet in a medicine ball. It's like plank, 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 you know, we're constantly engaging our core. So instead of just working parts, which is still great, and we still are still some spot training on P90X, but a vast majority of the exercises, based on the exercise science, you know, working with Marcus Elliot, we've learned that it really is, it's not only about weight loss and losing inches and seeing numbers on the scale, it's about becoming better, stronger, leaner, more flexible. and doing it in 5 days instead of 6.
Well, certainly the athletic side of it, we'll get to that. The athletic side of it is attractive. You know, we've had incredible success with Asylum following up Insanity with more of a sports bent. And I know this is highly sophisticated training, but for many people out there, still the motivation, and you know, for me, is keeping trim, keeping lean, continuing the visible transformation at the same time that they want to be better athletes or just more mobile. Will P90X2 continue to further the transformation along from P90X?
Yeah, because you know, if you look at the best bodies in the world, they're from athletes. Right? So athletes focus on power, strength, speed, agility, vertical height, lateral movement. So as an effect of why they're working out, their bodies automatically change. They automatically burn calories. They automatically become smaller and leaner and grow six-packs and delts and great quads and great butts because of the speed and the agility and the balance and the coordination in the actual routines that they're using. So the average customer, you know, it's a performance-based exercise routine. It requires skill. Just like with P90X, a vast majority of the folks that have done P90X couldn't do a lot of the moves for the first 30, 40, 60 days. Because that's the whole idea. If you were good at this stuff at the beginning, it doesn't work. So the fact that it is difficult and you have to learn some of the moves is the reason why Jeremy Oakes, 180 pounds, with a 100 pounds or 90 pounds, you know, these folks are people that picked up P90X who should have really picked up Power 90 for that matter. But they were willing to learn. You know, it's about learning, it's about patience, it's about enjoying the journey. So what we've done is we've extended the journey, you know, into a whole new realm.
Now, you know, in that little preview, you saw some pretty intense moves, and I think that shiny new thing always gets a lot of attention. And there will be many people who are like, oh, I'm going to do that one first. Now, does this replace P90X?
No, not at all. You know, it's an extension of P90X. It's just basically more muscle confusion, you know, plain and simple. You know, you can start P90X2 cold, you know, if you're pretty athletic. Kind of like, it's the same, similar, I would make the same distinction between Insanity and Asylum. I think a lot of people never saw Insanity, just jumped into Asylum when they were ready. I mean, they had to take their time. Same thing here, I think, with P90X2. It's going to challenge you, I think, in some respects more, but in some respects it'll feel a lot like P90X2.
Yeah, and I think one of the things we've seen is that people build a really incredible baseline of fitness with P90X, and a lot of these moves, very athletic moves, will really require the major muscle strength that you get from P90X, sort of the basic, some of the isolated stuff that you get from P90X to really make P90X2 all it can be. So from a coaching perspective, we actually put a lot of great care into making sure that we weren't making P90X an orphan out there. It's still an important component to the overall story. In fact, personally, I think Power 90 is still the best gateway into the series.
We opened up a lot of doors with Power 90. I mean, obviously, it was the first thing of its kind. Everybody in the industry said, what are you, crazy? 6 days a week in healthy food, you're not going to sell that. But, you know, we sold authentic, real stuff. You know, a lot of people sat at home and went, that looks hard, I want to do that. It makes you all kind of crazy. You know, it's a beautiful thing. And so as Power 90 was the gateway to P90X, you know, P90X is the gateway to P90X2.
Right. Okay, so give us a snapshot, the general construction of the program, phases. You mentioned, talk about 5 days a week versus 6, and what sort of equipment you need. Just give us an overall.
Well, it's 90 days, just like with P90X, but like with P90X, you can keep going. I mean, you can keep developing through P90X2. I still do. I've been doing P90X2 routines for months and months and months, and I really enjoy it. There's a foundation phase, which is kind of critical because you're adding stability balls and medicine balls and balance, and you know, you get your 2 hands on a medicine ball and 2 feet on a medicine ball. You know, it's going to take some time for all that connective tissue.
Don't do this workout on a hill.
Yeah. Just throw yourself right down into the river. But, so, you know, it's a learning phase, really, more than anything else. And then the second phase is the strength phase, which is going to feel a lot like P90X. There will be some things that will be similar, but there will also be new things that will blow your mind. And the last phase, which is, we'll talk about PAP, the complexes in a second with Marcus, but that's the performance stage. That's when you are really pushing the envelope, when you are doing things physically that you probably couldn't do in the first month, because you need that foundation, you need that strength phase, and when you finally get to the performance phase, that's when you really turn it on. And ironically, that's when your body starts to look like athlete. I mean, your delts and your arms and your glutes and your, I mean, it's crazy how people change. And their focus is not how much weight am I going to lose this week, but how can I get better? How can I do an extra push-up? How can I do another one of those crazy circle pull-ups that Tony wants me to do? And as a result of focusing on getting better, that's how your body changes in appearance.
Now, how about 5 days a week? I mean, there was a lot of debate at the office about taking.
I was one of them. What?
Yeah.
But then I sat down with Marcus and I sat down with Isabel and you and all the research that we did, and we discovered that when you're turning up the volume like this, it's really about active recovery, about active rest. A lot of people don't know what that is. We give you a rest day with P90X, and the vast majority of people just sleep till noon. You know what I mean? Go crazy with the burgers and Coca-Cola is not true, but we still want you to have that rest day. But on that other day, go for a hike, go for a walk. You know what I mean? Maybe get on your bike. Take advantage of all that work you had done the first 5 days, and go outside and enjoy it again.
Yeah, I think I draw the comparison to the results in recovery formula, right? I mean, it tastes so good. You want to have it every single day. Have it with a meal. Can I get another results in recovery? You got to earn that. Same thing with that extra day off.
Right.
You got to work hard those 5 days, and then. When we say you make all your gains while you're at rest, well, you had to earn that rest. You had to do something. You had to break some muscle down in order for your body to need that day off and make that great recovery. But that's true. In fact, if there's anything between Isabel and I that we constantly debate, because I'm kind of like you, it's like, if I break the habit, I'll easily break the habit for a couple of weeks. So I want to work out every day. And she's like, no. She says it. No. I'm telling you, take this day off. Take this day off and take the next one. It's just like, well, then stretch. Then do the stretch. It's scary when she said but it's true. I mean, world-class athletes rest, and they find a way to maintain their fitness habit and still rest. And that's what we're trying to incorporate in P90X2.
Well, all the science shows the change comes from the time you're doing nothing. Not when you're doing something. You're actually doing whatever we're asking you to do at P90X2. You're breaking down muscle tissue. You're destroying the cells inside the muscle. And so you need an extra day with this program, the way it's set up, for them to repair. And repair requires, rest and making sure you're consuming the right foods. And of course, we'll talk about that as well.
It's an easy sell, right? Go to people and say, hey, look, do this and we're going to destroy cells. Just going to break you down. It's great. But just look at the results. So let's talk a little bit about equipment.